So Sarina,
Yep.
when did you start studying law?
2007.
Why?
It's a
Why,
really
why did you
good-
become a lawyer? Like of all things you could have done.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I wanted to study creative arts. I was very interested in art and drama and acting and potentially film directing and that kind of thing. But my maths teacher said to me, I had a whole list. I had like a list of 10 things that I might like to like a career, 10 different career paths because I'm a bit dynamic and focusing on one thing seemed like a hard task for me. So I showed this list to my maths teacher and he said, you're so intelligent, you should study law. And I thought that's a weird logic. It's an odd logic for me to think just because you're intelligent, why would you pick something to study? But he said to me, if you study law, you're going to be able to do all of the things that you want to do, including directing, including art, including being in the creative industries. And you know what? He was right.
He was right, big time right. So it's funny when you say like I'm energetic, I expand very, very much so. And so you became a lawyer and then you went to work at a law firm?
Not right away. So during university, I worked for an entrepreneur. And we sold human resource packages to corporates in Australia and the US. So I got incredible sales training. I learned about scaling a business quite young. And I thought, wow, everyone's kind of working in these law firms and working really hard. I want to create something.
Okay.
So that was the start of it. But after I had kind of learned a lot in those different businesses that I worked in, I thought I better use my degree. And so I also accidentally got a job. There was a job that I applied for that was extremely senior and I don't even remember applying for it. I think I must have hit apply. So anyway, long story short, I got an incredibly senior job in law then quite young after I was applying for many jobs on Seek and I think I just hit apply and then I got a job that I didn't expect and I didn't even know what the job was about. And then I went in, I smashed the interview and the panel. For like a really amazing 6-figure job straight out of uni.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you got it?
I did.
So, and then if we took fast track forward, you're 25, 26, and from memory, you were already managing a law firm by that age, is that correct?
Yeah, 26.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then from memory as well, you start noticing that things were way more about patterns, like things were repeating itself. You start noticing different people, but the underlying piece was basically a copy of a copy. A Tuesday this week could be very much a copy of a Tuesday the week before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And then I guess the creativity, the experience as an entrepreneur, and all this coming together, and you became a very good lawyer. And then tell me a little bit about the genesis of Business Kids. So there is a point where you could have had some intuition, some insights, but there is a moment that it became a thing for you. Like it became like more towards, you know what, I'm going to chase this. Tell me about that.
It's a really good question. I have a brain that recognizes patterns easily. And I don't like doing the same thing twice. I get bored very easily.
Yes.
So working for, I worked in the law firms, I worked for extremely large client-assisted companies, Telstra, Microsoft. So I was kind of like top of my field very young, if that makes sense. And I worked extremely hard and I sort of mastered the art of drafting and I was already starting to feel the itch. I start to feel itches in life and I just kind of have to move on. And then at 26, I was managing a law firm. And for the first time in my life, I had small to medium business clients. And I really just got sick of repeating myself. And I also felt for the clients, had a lot of compassion because I started to notice the pattern. The recognition part of my brain that recognizes patterns saw that, all of these clients were suffering from the same issues. And I was repeating myself on all the low level work, like agreements and things like that, and having the wrong ABN and causing insurance issues and seeing them go through massive litigations of very simple matters. Started to not only bother me, but I didn't want to keep charging the clients for that work and I didn't want to keep doing that work. So I just on a whim set up a company, which is now Business Kits, that has a $10 million valuation set to 5-10 times in the next few years. And it started off, I had a feeling, I had a gut instinct where I went, bang, I'm going to set up this company and start creating templated resources. And I didn't hesitate at all. It was a Saturday. I remember being in my apartment.
It was a Saturday.
Yeah, in
brunch.
Nipper. Yeah, it was a Saturday. And really good friends is an accountant. And I said to him, can you set up a company for me now? As soon as I recognized the pattern. And he said, yeah, okay. And I said, he was on my kitchen table. And I said, just do it now. I just want to set up a company. And so he got online and he has his, the licenses and everything to set it up. So he just set it all up for me. And that's what Business Kits is today.
The word entrepreneur, you said to me you said Business Kits is here, right? So
yeah.
I'm now just playing with your timeline a bit. And for people watching us in this little tiny interview, the word entrepreneur, or the idea that you could create something, create a company, for those of you watching, there was a time in which Sarina just went to school. There was a time in which, she was a good student and she played some volleyball, did things that young people do. There's a moment in which the timeline started to diverge from the normal path, right? So when we work with an entrepreneur, maybe some of the viruses of entrepreneurship goes in. But my point to you is, when did you know? I could ask the question and be a bit teasing you a little, but when did you know you're not a lawyer? You already knew before you went in. I got that from the way you described it. But when did you know you were an entrepreneur? How old were you? What happened?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in some ways I always knew.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like you have a feeling, and at a young age I had a feeling. I think it was about 13 or 14, and I was like, I'm supposed to create an organization, and I've got no idea what that looks like. I thought it would be in creative industries and influence that way. And interestingly, I'm now going into a more creative space in the way that I'm going to express from Business Kit's point of view, that the pieces that I write, the influences that I'm going to have is much more creative. I think I'm a bit of a complex person because I'm highly creative, yet I can do the technical work, but it's actually because I've got an incredibly complex but extremely good long-term memory.
Yeah.
So I can memorize things.
Oh, cool.
But I'm actually more creative than people realize. Does that make sense?
Yes,
but it's my memory that serves me really well with facts.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was 13 or 14 when I had a feeling that there was this organization I was going to create and it was going to impact the world. And I mean, it sounds almost a bit narcissistic to even admit that, but I really felt like I had this calling, and that forced me to study really hard. I got competitive, not with my classmates. I've always been quite supportive of others succeeding, but I became competitive with myself. I knew where everyone sat in my class. I knew where I was at, and I got a lot of people on my team. Even at school, I got a few complaints because I was favored by teachers, but I really just did get people on my team, I think, because I had a passion, I had a purpose and an energy behind me that was propelling me forward. So yeah, I always knew that I was going to do something different, and I went to university knowing that. I never went into university thinking that I was going to be a lawyer in a law firm. And when I did it, I knew it was a learning exercise.
So tell me now, so Business Kits was an idea. On a Saturday, you said to your accountant, can you set up a company? You said the valuation of the business sets around 10 million.
Now, yeah.
Right? So for those of you watching, I think it's very important that you start to realize the power of your intention, the power of your attention, and deeper, it's the power of your declaration, what you're declaring. So watch now where this interview is going to go, right? Just watch this now. This is not prepared. We don't have any questions here in front of us. We're just flowing, right? Watch this. Sarina, could you just tell me, okay, how are you going to make the planet better? How are you going to impact, right, humanity?
Yeah.
With what you're dancing with.
Yeah.
Okay, so just let this sink or flow and expand. Talk to me about that.
Thanks. It's a great question. I like it. Julio, what I deeply believe in is freedom. And I feel that we are, as a society, very stuck in a system that we've created. And if we don't break free from this system, we're not going to achieve and succeed as a human race. So effectively, how I'm going to impact the planet is through the system that I've already created, which is highly automating the business and legal framework. And this hasn't really been achieved worldwide yet. One, because you need to be you can't be selfish to do this. You have to actually study the system, break it down, and then be transparent and honest and deliver products and services and a system that was going to free people from the system. And if you didn't have the compassion and the conviction to do that, you weren't going to achieve that. People from the caliber that I'm from, in terms of where I've worked and where I've studied, don't tend to have that same kind of level of compassion or conviction to take that leap of faith.
It's funny because, you get out of the book what you bring to the book. Any book you read, you're getting out of the book movie you watch, you got out of the movie what you bring to the movie, right? And some of you watching right now, there's a movie you watch and you got nothing out of it, and then you watch it again, you go, oh my God, the movie is amazing. Well, the reverse is also true. You thought it was amazing, you watch it again, and you thought, oh, because you all grow it, right? When you hear Sarina talking about, I want you to hear a few things here that is golden keys, right? One piece is when she said, I was very competitive, but then she reframed or actually called it on something very important. She said, I was competing against myself, right? So something else she said in her delivery is that I knew that the law was learning a path into something else. And then she starts describing how she's going to impact the world, and she said there's a system. So what the system does, the system is trying to regulate disputes. So this is my personal view. The law exists to hold back evil and to sustain business, right? So, but there is a system nonetheless. The reason why a business case is so beautiful and so integrated into the future of humanity, if you think about it, is because what Sarina said, we need to be free from a system that allows us to be human. Did you get all of that? Like that is inside of everything she said. And she said then that you have to be compassionate.
That's right.
Can we expand on that, please?
Sure. Yeah. Compassionate to truly succeed. And one thing that I learned and has been amazing about being at Unstoppables and being around people that are truly at that level of success, on that next level, that makes sense. Like we now have a network where I'm around people that own billion-dollar companies, and I'm very grateful to be surrounded by incredible people. And what I've noticed is none of the people that I feel like in the modern day that are reaching that status are doing it from a perspective of just wanting to make money, because it's got to be something more to it. Yeah. And what I'm noticing is there's a great humility in people that are rising at the moment, and there's a lot of humility, and you just, the journey humbles you as it is. Does that make sense? When you're going to go on a journey and you're going to have goals and you're going to reach this kind of level of success, it's going to humble you. And it's got to be, you've got to have care and compassion way beyond yourself, because it's not possible to get the support as well to go to that next level. Again, you've got to actually care about solving the problem. And that's what, all the fund managers and people that I've been working with lately, they look for that. How dedicated are you to solving the problem? Because if it's just about yourself and it's a selfish endeavor, you're not going to overcome the obstacles in the ride. It's got to be bigger than yourself.
Wow. That is unreal. Okay. I got some questions here I wrote down. Let me just ask you this. How was your Unstoppables experience? You just touched on it, and I'm going to use it as a segue. How was the experience of being in the mountain, going through the Unstoppables protocols? Can you give us a bit of what happened?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'm going to be honest. I just trust Julio, so I just trusted him with this event, even though I didn't know him long. He said, you're coming to Unstoppables, and I just trusted him in that. I didn't really know what Unstoppables was about or what I was going to, so it was a great surprise for me. I thought there was going to be a little bit more camping style. So even like the clothes I packed were very casual, because I imagine like this sort of campfire, cooking on the fire kind of scenario. And then when I got there and everything was so well thought out, the food, do you know what I mean? You hired your own chefs, and everything was so beautiful. And so I was blown away on the detail and the quality to begin with. I know that's on a superficial level, but it was really like comfortable. Does that make sense? And beautiful. And then it was just such a beautiful energy. Like as soon as I walked into the room and I started to get to know the people in the room, I was like, wow, there's not a whole lot of ego here. It's a really humble, beautiful, grounding, loving, uplifting energy, and it was honestly one of the most incredible events I've ever been to.
Oh wow, thank you so much. Sarina, tell us some more about your experiences during the Unstoppables program, the protocols, some of the things that you went through personally? What did you observe?
Well, I just really like how Unstoppables was designed to really put us in our best state. So the fact that we woke up in the morning and did breath work and yoga and ate wholesome food made me feel really good. And it's a part of the kind of routine that I have on a personal level. So, when you go to events and it really throws you out of balance, I was able to maintain my balance during the event, and that was really appreciated because during the event, I'm also running, quite a large company at the moment. So I had to manage attending all the sessions, but also work at the same time occasionally and take my laptop outside and quickly do a bit of work here and there. And you guys saw me on the phone and managing a few matters that I was dealing with. So yeah, but I love the fact that you're waking up in nature. It was very luxurious. It was a beautiful experience, and there was beautiful food and yoga and breath work. And I was able to get in my, in a really good flow, in a really good state. So I felt I had so much energy during the entire event. I didn't feel tired. I was really feeling like in my own flow, and that was beautiful that we got to experience that with a whole bunch of other people in a way that I often look after myself.
How do you feel when somebody says, "Hey, do you want to hop on this bag full of ice? Do you want to hop on this bath full of ice?" Right?
Yeah.
How did the ice bath go for you?
Oh, look, I love ice baths, and it's something that I've done a lot of. So I really enjoyed that. And again, I just felt incredible to be able to have an ice bath in the morning and feel refreshed and energized. It was amazing. And it was also lovely to watch many other people that haven't been exposed to things like breath work, yoga, and ice baths, and just to see their world open up. Yeah, and see their world open up, and them to really take their health and their wellness seriously and realize that there are these practices that might be able to support their system and their well-being.
Well, tell us, what did you observe on the feedback? Because there's plenty of people giving and taking feedback on their businesses, on who they were being, how they were being. How was it for you to be an observer during a pitch, to comment? How was that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think what's incredible is that there was so many different participants from so many different industries and walks of life. And Julio, you speak about spiking, and I think a lot of people were able to spike during the event and then watch other people's pitches, stories, and the way they did things. And I think that was an incredible learning experience for everyone. I really liked the pitching framework, and I liked the fact that we got to pitch and practice pitching in front of a whole group of people. But it was a really supportive environment, getting the feedback, providing comments, and all that kind of thing. So I felt very supportive and dynamic, and I think that I was able to practice my pitching on another level, and then also to receive, amazing feedback was incredible. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part of it, and I think it's a really important time out for entrepreneurs to really take themselves to that next level. And I certainly know that a lot of the participants felt challenged and also driven to improve their pitching and take themselves to the next level after the Unstoppables event.
Yeah, it was incredible for me too, to be able to be part of that. And then once the machine goes, people start taking care of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
totally.
it's just the next round, off we go.
Yeah.
And people learn on the spot, get better on the spot. It was just, Let me ask you something else. Give us an update on your life since the Unstoppables.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah, so it was incredible energy, and I feel like a lot opened up for me. My license has been very dynamic. I've made some incredible connections at the event, and yeah, I think it just sort of took everything to another level, and it's so nice to be around other people that are really, truly striving to make change, succeed, looking after their health and well-being. So I feel from that event, there's a lot of people in my life, vibrationally, I feel kind of at another level, and I feel like there's just incredible people that I'm attracting that are coming in and out of my vortex in my life that are really, really amazing people. I obviously already had those people in my life, but it's more, and I'm just learning so much since then, and I think that it was incredible for everyone, and I feel like a lot of people's networks and lives opened up after the event. I really highly recommend the Unstoppables event because I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to take time out, to connect with other people that are on a similar journey and a similar level. And honestly, it's something that I'm going to continue to do in my life, is to take time out and go to events like the Unstoppables, because not only are you out in nature, but you're connecting with like-minded people that are really incredible, humble, intelligent, dynamic, healthy beings. And that they're the sort of people that I want to be around.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm definitely drawn to go back.
Okay.
I think one of my mantras in life is to truly know thyself and to be our own source of power, and to realize that in this world, while we may seem like victims, a lot of the time we're not. And to truly find our own inner power and to be our own source, to really not only succeed in life, but to really find fulfillment within. So what drives me, it can never just be about success, superficiality, or business. It's always about like the passion in your heart, the people that you're going to impact for the day, and the connection that you're going to experience with people. So for me, I wake up so excited to connect with my team, to connect with my clients, to connect with my shareholders. And it's really just the personal experience and the vibration that I experience in terms of connection that really drives me. And then knowing the impact we're having. So the impact can't always just be financial. It's got to be emotional. It's got to be spiritual. It's got to be physical. And that's what really drives me to get out of bed in the morning.